the Mississippi River, they call her the Crescent City. Old New Orleans, retaining a lot of the flavor and passion of the past, but able to blend the bustling present and promise of the future with its personality. Not far from the levee, there's the French Quarter, Bourbon Street, and since 1935, New Year's holiday crowds in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl game have gorged themselves on jazz, seafood, and fun, shouting themselves hoarse in support of their favorite teams. Every year you think the decibel count has reached an all-time level, but every year you come back and it's always higher. New Orleans is also the location of one of the architectural marvels of the world, the massive Superdome with a roof spanning more than 9 acres. And inside today, you talk about noise, my goodness, it's just going to be thundering and roaring. The green of Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, and the red and black of Georgia. And ABC Sports presents the #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs against #7 ranked Notre Dame. A man named Dooley will coach the Georgia Bulldogs against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame today. And Dan Devine will coach his final game as the head football coach at the University of Notre Dame. Georgia and Notre Dame never met before in football. There isn't a seat available. It's been the hardest ticket to find anywhere in this part of the country. More than 75,000 people are here, including the President of the United States, for this ball game today that will have so much to do with which team claims the national championship in 1980 in college football. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet and your Chevy dealer with Chevette Monza Citation and the new Monte Carlo Chevys up ahead for 1981. By Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by RCA's Color Track. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and from all of us at ABC Sports, a very happy wish for a successful and prosperous new year in 1981. And settle back now for an afternoon of fun in college football as these two teams, Georgia and Notre Dame, square off. And for the 4th time in the last 7 years, the Sugar Bowl game will have a bearing on which team is #1 when it's all done. Georgia Bulldogs come in 11-0, ranked #1. Fighting Irish 9-1-1, and they are ranked 7th and 8th in the major polls. This will be the 5th time that Notre Dame has gone into a postseason football game against a top-ranked team, #1. And 4 of the 5 times, the Fighting Irish have won the football game. This is really the first time that Georgia's ever had a chance to finish #1 when all the games were played. Second appearance in the Sugar Bowl for the Fighting Irish. They came here in 1973, beat Alabama 24-23 in a ball game I think we will always remember. The University of Notre Dame, as much as any school in the country, is truly a national university. The football roster reflects 21 different states, and here in New Orleans you find a big Subway alumni that can make this kind of noise on Bourbon Street. The University of Georgia is the Bulldog. He's a classic, purebred, white English Bulldog, and they call him Ugga. This is Ugga 3, going to his 5th bowl game today. And the Bulldog has triggered a cheer that is fast becoming a saying among the Georgia faithful, and it goes like this. How about them dogs? I've seen that a dozen times. It's easy to say, just roar and lay back your head and say, how about them dogs? I've even learned how to say it. An 18-year-old native son has become the biggest Bulldog this year, and maybe that's not the right word. Maybe we ought to call him a horse. His name is Herschel Walker. He's a running back. And this is what he has accomplished in his freshman year at the University of Georgia. 1,616 yards rushing, an NCAA freshman record, a Southeastern Conference freshman record, a Georgia record. He finished third in Heisman voting, and for the first time, a freshman consensus All-American. Football writers prior to this had never named a freshman to their All-American team. But Herschel Walker is the man who finally broke through that barrier. Herschel is a big fella, standing about 6'2" and weighing close to 220 pounds. He chose to stay at home and go to school at the University of Georgia. He comes from a small town of Wrightsville, which is about 98 miles south of the campus of the University of Georgia, with a population around 4,000 or so. Played at a small high school, Class A, and grew up in this White House at the end of the road. Number 34. They questioned whether or not he could come from Class A high school to college ball and make it. Well, he has made it big.
Up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's Superman. I love you, Superman. Do it to them, Superman. We love you, Superman. Superman. I love you, Superman. Do it to them, Superman. I love it, Superman.
Herschel Walker, you'll see him a lot today. We all need a little luck, I guess, in about everything that we do. But to win 11 consecutive football games in this era, you better have some luck. And sometimes a small miracle doesn't hurt. For example, the Georgia Bulldogs got a lot of luck in their opening game against Tennessee. Volunteers fumbled away a scoring opportunity late in the game, and Georgia hung on to win 16-15. But it was in the Florida game that the miracle truly arrived, and it was engineered by a young man named Buck Bellew, a junior quarterback from Valdosta, Georgia. And Buck Bellew will be a very important figure on the football field today. The Georgia quarterback against the Florida Gators was looking at disaster, square in the eye. But this rangy, blue-eyed, curly-headed kid did this. With 63 seconds to play, 92 yards away from the goal line, Florida leading 21-20. He took the snap and went back into the end zone. Eluded a Florida man. Then he spotted a friendly shirt. Lindsey Scott, wide receiver. Scott found some daylight, racing down the sidelines. Even his coach, Vince Dooley, was trying to keep up with him to cheer. And Scott found the end zone, and the miracle had happened for the Georgia Bulldogs as they defeated Florida by a score of 26-21. It is a play that will live forever in Georgia football history. And without it, they wouldn't be here today playing for a national championship. Buck Bellew and Lindsey Scott, the two youngsters who did it. As I mentioned earlier, the President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, native Georgian, is in among the crowd today to see the ball game with Mrs. Carter, Rosalind, sitting by him. And the Georgia band now in Hail to the Chief. Georgia band. I'm sure many of you know he's got a broken collarbone. And now the Fighting Irish come into the Sugar Bowl. The Irish record, 9-1-1. The tie against Georgia Tech, a team that Georgia handled easily. The loss to Southern California in their final game. Dan Devine, his final game as coach of the Irish. And now the Bulldogs of Georgia. The opening game, as we mentioned, so close. South Carolina was close. Florida was the miracle. 11-0. Vince Dooley, their coach. And working with us today is our analyst, Frank Royal, who's been to 11 Sugar Bowls. Now, you've got to know every back street in town.
I learned very early about Bourbon Street. I was very lucky.
Yeah, you don't have any scars. You must be all right. I think the two words amongst all of the literature you've compiled in researching these two teams, Frank, were finesse for Georgia, muscle by Notre Dame.
Very definitely. Georgia are basing their offensive and defensive plans on the assumption that they must use their speed and quickness and make the big play. And I'm not speaking about just offensively. They have Scott Warner, All-American defensive halfback that leads the nation in punt returns. He leads the nation in yardage returned on intercepted passes. Georgia must strike quickly if they're to win today.
Buck Bellew, Georgia quarterback. Got to be looking for the short pass route.
Very definitely, Keith. They're going to throw a lot on first down and second down, and they're going to use Herschel Walker, number 34, in a new role. He will be a pass receiver trying to devise methods to get the ball to him where he can use his speed outside of the powerful Notre Dame defense.
Been questions all week, in fact over 2 weeks, as to which man would start at quarterback for the Fighting Irish. The freshman Blair Keel, who made most of the starts, or the senior Mike Corey, who made the initial start of the year.
Well, being in the 12th game of the season and not knowing who your quarterback is not a good situation, because your team can possibly take sides, and that would be detrimental to Notre Dame's cause. But I believe that coaches will turn normally to their senior. Experience in that, of course, is Mike Curry. And he had a great game against Southern California in the second half. He gave them the spark that they needed, and I think that will have the effect on this team today.
Notre Dame has been here a long time, coming here to train because of the cold weather up in South Bend. Georgia and Notre Dame both practice their teams now, first offense against first defense, and you normally don't do that.
No, you don't. But both coaches realize the importance of this game, Keith, and they don't want to take any chances that they have lost the timing, the execution that they had during the season. Scrimmaging is the only way that they can regain it, and they said, both told me, that their players responded like thoroughbreds, and they're ready for this great game.
As we noted, Dan Devine is coaching his last game as the football coach at Notre Dame. Yesterday, I talked with him about the end of the regular season and this one. Well, Coach Dan Devine, following your one loss to Southern California, you made the comment in the aftermath of gloom that you were thankful that this team had one more game to play. Is the team ready to play this final game?
Yes, I really think so, Keith. I'd be the first to admit that training in New Orleans isn't like being in South Bend or Athens, Georgia. But under the circumstances, I think our team is very ready. I'm still very thankful that we have this game, and we're eagerly looking forward to playing Georgia.
A lot of us read Georgia as somewhat of a total team. They've got all the tools, and some of us feel that perhaps your greatest strength lies in your defense. So that means your defense has got to be ready to defend Bellew the pass and Walker the run.
That's right, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, Keith, because I think it's an element of the game that a lot of people around the country don't realize, that Georgia is not just Herschel Walker. Now, we all know that Herschel's a fantastic back, but Buck Bellew is a great passer. They got the best punt return guy in the country. Their defense is very adequate. They've shut out 3 teams, and Coach Dooley calls this a total ball club. I'm not sure that we're quite that total. We've got to get a splendid effort out of all of our people, our offense, our defense, and our special teams, in order to stay in this ball game. If we play well in those 3 aspects, and they play well in those 3 aspects, I kind of feel like we're going to win the game. I don't mean to be optimistic and get drummed out of the coaching profession, but I feel like we have to play well in all 3 areas, Keith.
All right, some comments from late yesterday with Coach Dan Devine as he sends his Fighting Irish, ranked number 7, out against the Georgia Bulldogs, ranked number 1. And we are ready to go as Notre Dame will receive the football and Georgia will kick it off. And Jim Stone, number 42, and Ty Barber, number 12, are the deep men. Jimmy Stone is playing in his final game for the Fighting Irish. He's a senior out of Seattle. He's had a very fine year. Kicking off for Georgia will be a young man who has put his name in the Bulldog record book. His name is Rex Robinson, and he might very well, as a place kicker, be a most important figure for Georgia before this day is done. It was his 57-yard field goal that won the game against South Carolina. All of the officials are out of the Southwest Conference, and the game is on in the Sugar Bowl. The Irish let it go. Stone catches it as the ball threatened to bounce back outside of the end zone, and Jimmy Stone made a heads-up play. Mike Curry, we expect to start at quarterback for Notre Dame. We'll check it as soon as they're lined up. John Sweeney, the fullback. Pete Holohan is the wide receiver, big guy, and Tony Hunter, the big play man for the Irish. And as you saw, it will be Carter. Bill Carter will be at the running back. And it is Blair Keel that's who gets the call. Blair Keel, the freshman, comes out. Blair Keel is the man that Dan Devine says seems to get him out of trouble. So he indicates Mike Curry is the man he may look to. And Keel will go long, throws it as far as he can for Tony Hunter, and he can't come down with it. Mike Fisher just barely broke it up. Tony Hunter was gone. Keel just simply didn't throw the ball far enough. Frankly, if he had thrown it another 2 feet, it's touchdown.
It definitely was, Keith. You can see Hunter gets in behind Fisher, number 31, and the ball goes right through Hunter's hands.
Fisher really had very little to do with it, except he might have shielded his vision a bit. For Notre Dame now does exactly what they said they would do, go for the big one on the first play. They go to the I formation now, and Keel will go back and throw it again. He swings this one out to Phil Carter, and Carter gets 2 big blocks to get around the corner, and he is caught. Only one man had a real good chance to get him coming down the sidelines as number 22 goes for 22. It was Tom Thayer that really got him around the corner.
What a beautiful executed play. Drop back screen, and we're going to watch the right guard Thayer and the center 57 Scully, All-American, make the key blocks right there, both of them. And Carter turns up and makes a nice gain on the second play of the game.
And Notre Dame is operating with a first down at their own 42. First and 10 for the Irish. It's Carter over the left side. Dives it up to the 44. He picked up 2 yards. And the Fighting Irish front now. Mike Shiner at tackle. He is 250 pounds. Randy Ellis, a 251-pounder. John Scully, 255 at center. Thayer, 258 at guard. Posderick, 260 at tackle, 6'9". And the tight end, Mazpak at 227. It's a very big football team. Second down and 8 at the Notre Dame 44. Georgia with a 6-man front. Keel on a roll, has help. Caught from behind, dropped at the 46. Eddie Weaver, the nose guard, was hunting the quarterback and found him. Have a look at number 61 doing his thing.
Eddie Weaver is very strong. He only stands 6 feet tall, but he weighs 270 pounds. He has quickness and speed, as you can witness right here as he closes to the football and makes the tackle on quarterback Keel, number 5, right there. Outstanding play by Weaver.
It is third down from just outside the 45, and they need about 7 yards. Keel straight back, looks for Hunter, goes the other way, and the pass is caught by Mazpak, the tight end, down at the Georgia 38. And the freshman quarterback threw a bullet for 16 yards. Oh. The defensive alignment for the Georgia Bulldogs, Robert Miles, Jimmy Payne, Eddie Weaver, Tim Crow, and Pat McShay up front in the trenches. Ross Taylor, linebackers, and the secondary, Werner, Fisher, Welton, and Hip. It was Hip that made the tackle that kept Carver from breaking it loose, as Carter looked like he was gone down the sideline. First down for the Irish, Georgia 38. Holohan in motion. Keel gives the ball to Phil Carter. Carter is hit. May not have reached the line of scrimmage. Georgia's going to have to gamble on defense, going to have to do some stunning. Jimmy Payne made the tackle. President Carter and Mrs. Carter and Amy watching.
Keith, to enlarge on what you said about Weaver and also Payne, they're going to move to the tight end side, feeling that Notre Dame likes to run in that way and get the best defensive players they can to that side.
Second down, about 10.5 yards, and Keel comes outside. Plenty of time to throw it. It is caught, but it was caught after it was almost intercepted. Hunter came up with a ball. Werner made a try for it, and he went right through him.
Watch the execution by Tony Hunter, number 25, the very gifted athlete. Watch him come back for the ball. Otherwise, Warner, number 19, would have had the interception. Just an excellent play by Tony Hunter, number 25.
Dick Beard is in at tight end now for the Fighting Irish. Maztak is out. The football is at the Georgia 30. That was a pickup of about 8.5 yards. They've got to go to the 28. They need 2 here on third down. They give it to Carter, the tailback. Carter picks his hole. Penalty flag is thrown to the umpire. The umpire, standing in the short area of the defensive secondary, back of the linebackers, whipped it in there, and it looks like it may be against the Irish. It is illegal use of hands. The referee, Clint Fuller, that's a 5-yard penalty. It is not holding, it is pushing.
Well, that's a tough place to get a call, defensive call.
Rules been changed a little bit this year so that you offensive linemen have a little more use of their hands.
On number 61, Weaver, let's see Thayer, number 64. He cannot use his hands once the defensive man has gotten parallel with him. He can use his hands while the defensive man is in front of him only. So it's a good call. 5-yard penalty.
And it's third down and 8. At about 7. Third down and about 7 with double wide at the top of the picture for Notre Dame. Keel gives it to the tailback Carter. Carter is caught by the outside linebacker and brought down short of the first down, and it brings up 4th down, and Harry Oliver comes into the ball game. Nate Taylor, number 47, made the play for Georgia.
Nate Taylor, number 47, strangely enough, was a walk-on. As a freshman, he still got a scholarship and led the team in tackles as he did this year. He moves over, closes, and assists in the tackle to stop Carter short of the first down.
Condini will hold for Harry Oliver, the left-footed kicker out of Cincinnati. He's 2 for 2 from 50 yards or more. This is from 50 exactly. He's got plenty of leg on it. It's good. A 50-yard field goal for the Fighting Irish in their first offensive possession, and they take the lead 3-0 at 10 minutes and 41 to play in the first quarter, and we come back. Georgia will have the ball. Gives the Fighting Irish a 3-0 lead in their first possession. Georgia's about to get the ball for the first time. That's Scott Werner and Chuck Jones are the deep men with Mike Johnson to kick it off for Notre Dame. Mike is a sophomore out of Rochester, New York, and he hits it. And he hangs it up there. And it's going to be returned by Werner. Scott Werner splits him and gets it out to the 21. The starting backfield for Georgia, Buck Ballou from Valdosta. We talked about him. Jimmy Womack, birthday today for Jimmy, the fullback. Herschel Walker, well known now. Amp Arnold will not start the ball game. Chuck Jones should be in there at the flanker spot, and Lindsey Scott is the wide receiver. I'd also say that Tim Huffman started at guard for the Fighting Irish in their first series. Here's Georgia now, first possession of the ball game, down 3-0, first down at their own 21. Ballou gives it on a little delay to Herschel Walker, and Walker is out to the 24 for 3 yards before Scott Zedek and Pat Kramer bring him down. The offensive line, Jeff Harper, a 240-pound tackle. Jim Blakewood, a 230-pound guard for Georgia. Wayne Radloff at center, 230. Tim Morrison, big guard, 260. Alongside of him, another 260-pounder, Nat Hudson at tackle. And Norris Brown, the tight end, 215 pounds. Second down and 7 for the Bulldogs. And they turn, give it to Walker. Walker trying to get outside. Does get outside. Penalty flag down. Look out for this one. Herschel Walker got it across the 30 and close to a first down. But look out for the penalty flag on that kind of a play on a sweep. It is easy to clip. Also easy to hold. Here it is.
Holding. Offense.
Clint Fuller heads the officials team, all of them out of the Southwest Conference. Lewis Shuffle, Red Shaw, Fuller and Shaw their last game. They retire after this one. Mike Wetzel, Ron Underwood, and Jim Evans. It's a good team of officials.
Keith, and the penalty that will be assessed against Georgia will be 15 yards, 10 yards, half the distance to the goal line. But it's a big penalty, major penalty. Puts Georgia in a real hole now.
Carney Norris is into the lineup at tailback, replacing Walker for the moment. Of course, they may move Walker out, put him in a different position. Chuck Jones is going in. Amp Arnold, who had gone in on the last play. Arnold has had a knee problem, hurt it in the Florida game, and really hadn't had much work. And Vince Dooley a little fearful that Amp might not be on top of his game.
He'll miss him, too, because he is their big playmaker, one of their big playmakers.
Second down now. Georgia is all the way back at its 13-yard line. They've got to go to the 31 to get the first down. And here's the pitch to Carney Norris out of the tailback. He's got a yard up to about the 14, and he is the other New Year's baby. Happy birthday to Carney. So Womack and Norris are both observing their birthdays playing in the Sugar Bowl. Ball is up around the 14. The Irish defensive unit, Hankard, Kramer, Gramke, Zedek. They're working on Herschel Walker on the sidelines right now, if he's injured. The linebackers you saw there for Notre Dame and the defensive secondary reflected there. It is third down and long. Pressure's on Ballou. Can't get away. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Joe Rudzinski, number 51. Rudzinski got him back at the 6.
One of the things that the Notre Dame coaches said, they're going to try to intimidate Buck Ballou by blitzing the linebackers and maybe even the strong safety to try to give him the bad play and discourage him.
He'd have been able to get away from Rudzinski. He had a whole lot of room outside, though, and Rudzinski stayed with him and got him. Malkowitz punts it out of there for Georgia, and it is fielded by Krim. John Krim takes it back up on the 43 and brings it back down to about the 41. It was a 36-yard punt, 2-yard return. Notre Dame has the football, first down on the Georgia into the field. Herschel Walker a little bit. We don't know exactly what for, but he seems to be all right now. In the meantime, the Georgia defense got to muscle it up here against the Fighting Irish. Ball just outside the Georgia 41. First down for Notre Dame, and Keel is still the quarterback. Georgia almost jumped. Player got back in time. Phil Carter sweeps it off the left side, and Carter takes it down to about the 37 of Georgia, where Robert Miles, the defensive end, leads the defensive play. Carter now in the game, 4 carries, 10 yards. But that's what he did right there on the season.
He's a very fine football player, a slashing type runner that can turn just a short yardage into a very nice game.
Second down and a little more than 5. Carter again hit behind the line of scrimmage, but wiggles his way back through the line of scrimmage. It was Frank Ross, number 48, a senior from Greenville, South Carolina, who penetrated and took away the quickness of Carter with a contact. The fullbacks for the Irish, Sweeney and Buchanan, are bringing in the plays, and right now John Sweeney, number 33, has come in with 35, Buchanan going out. Blair Keel and his numbers for the year. You see 0 touchdown. Look at Georgia stunning, blitzing, crashing, trying to get the pressure on. And the pass is thrown and completed by the freshman quarterback. Keel was in the grasp of number 41, Pat McShay, defensive end, and he just muscled it downfield to the tight end, Mastak.
You can see that Keel has some mobility. 41, McShay nearly makes the stop right here, but Keel turns and throws, and Mastak, who has tremendous hands, makes the reception for the first down.
Oh, Blair's strong, isn't he?
Yes, he is. 200 pounds, 6 foot tall.
It's the first down at the Georgia 30. Double wide, top of the screen, new offensive set for the Irish for this ball game. Give it off to the tailback, Phil Carter, the sophomore from Tacoma. Hits down to near the 27. That's Tacoma, Washington. The muscle of Notre Dame. They are very big along the front. 250, 265, 255, 258, 260. And it forces Georgia to gamble on defense.
To enlarge on what Keith said, Georgia will have to move their men around into the gaps so that their defensive men will not be lined up head on the big Notre Dame offensive linemen.
Second down, 7. follow. He lost her. Did he lose the football? Nope, guess not. He almost lost his life. Tim Crow was coming, sophomore from Stone Mountain, and watch this hit.
Right there, Tim Crow plays left defensive tackle. He was shooting the gap. In effect, he was slanting to the tight end, which is what Georgia's plans are, and he came free into the backfield.
Folks, I'll tell you right now, Phil Carter is one tough fella, but he's still in there. It is 3rd down and 7. Too much time, I think.
They're definitely a big mistake for the Notre Dame football team, Keith.
Well, there was a penalty that stopped them last time, and they settled for 3.
What happened is that Georgia had the blitz, moved in with their ends, single coverage, and Keel tried to change the play, go to a 101 pattern to Hunter, but time caught him.
Irk Russell, is the fellow who is the defensive coordinator for Georgia, and he's done all kinds of things with his defensive unit in getting ready for this ball game.
He's been with Dooley for all 17 years at Georgia.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 12. Keel throws it over the middle, and the pass is just tipped away. Robert Miles, the defensive end, had dropped off to cover Mastak, the tight end, and just flipped it away.
We must remember that Mastak missed most of the season. He's a great receiver. He gives an added dimension, but Miles comes in front of him at the last instant and deflects the ball. A big play that forces Notre Dame into the field goal situation.
Oliver has hit a 50-yarder to give the Irish a 3-0 lead with 5.5 minutes to play. This one is a 48-yarder. He is 4 out of 6 from this distance. It is blocked. Number 14. It looked like came flying in. And the ball comes rolling back across midfield. And that's got to fire up the Georgia Bulldogs. It was number 14 who made the play for Georgia. Terry Hogue, a defensive back, a freshman out of Huntsville, Texas, and he is the only Texan on the Georgia team. And look at this.
Watch him come in front and get his hands up in the air, and that's what blocked the kick. He had a little bit of a gap inside the offensive end, which is a mistake on Notre Dame's part. You shouldn't let him come inside like that.
And Georgia has the ball at the Irish 49. 1st down. Bulldogs for the first time today on the Notre Dame side of the field with Arnold in motion. Give the ball to Herschel Walker. Walker gets outside a Hankard, and Walker runs it inside the 45 to the 43 before Tom Gibbons.
Let's watch the block again. Hogue, number 14, goes right over the top. Keith, it looked to me like he might have put his feet on the back of one of the Georgia linemen, as Bob Crable did when he blocked the field goal to preserve their victory against Michigan a couple of years ago.
Right.
In any event, it was a great play.
Betcha. Walker picked up 7 on that carry. 2nd down and 3. The football is at the 43 of Notre Dame. And it's Walker again. And Herschel again gets around Hankard. And he's got a 1st down. And he put away a photographer as he went into the crowd.
Let's watch the block again. It appears to me that
no, that's a Notre Dame man he's going to step on.
He might have stepped on a Notre Dame back of the offensive lineman, came over the top. Number 14, look how high he is. That's just a sensational effort. He really wanted it. That's what we'd say it to him.
And
he wanted
it's the 1st down for the Georgia Bulldogs at the 36 of Notre Dame. They've got Arnold in motion. He's coming towards Scott. Double wide left. And Ballou still got the ball. He wants to throw it. Goes over the middle into a crowd, and he's lucky it wasn't picked off. Very fortunate because he threw it right into a crowd.
Gibbons, the safety man, broke in front and had his hands on the ball. Could have intercepted it, as Keith said. There's the Notre Dame defensive stats for the year. You can see how effective they have been. 8th in the rushing defense, 4th in total defense, and 6th in scoring defense, allowing only 3 touchdowns in the last 7 games.
2nd down and 10 for Georgia. They threw it on 1st down. Ballou gives it to Walker. Herschel running inside. Goes across the 30. Bowls his way to the 27. His inside running has improved tremendously throughout the season.
I think that we all agree with that. Keith saw him in early November. I saw him in the middle of November, and he has improved. He's worked hard on it. He told me earlier that he knew that this was the one weakness he had of not being able to find the blockers, Keith, but on that particular play, he waited patiently and saw the block and made a nice run.
He weighs about 220 pounds. He's got big, strong legs. Ronnie Stewart in at fullback now, replacing Womack for Georgia. It's Walker again. Herschel gets a block, and he turns it upfield. And he's got a first down for Georgia at the Irish 20. And he got a big block from Jim Blakewood, the left guard, to get him around the corner.
Blakewood, number 77, is their pulling guard on the sweep. And as Keith said, he's made the key block. But let me just add this. Of all of the great running ability, as we see his rushing stats during the season, and I want to continue with this, as all this yardage we mounted up, he has only fumbled one time. As a freshman, that's the most remarkable thing I can remember. Lost one fumble in the 9th game of the season against Florida.
Herschel again into the stack. Doesn't get much that time. Too much muscle there. He gets 1 yard.
Notre Dame defense is very, very tough and stiff on this part of the field. They use their corners and their safety to blitz, trying to force Georgia to go to the air if they want to score.
Time remaining, you see there. First quarter with the Irish leading by a score of 3-0. Second down and 9. And it's Walker looking for a hole inside. Nothing there. Stood up and then decked by Zedek. Zavagnin had him, stood him up, and then Zedek put him down.
Zedek, number 70, All-American. A senior, a fifth-year senior that knows how to recognize the play. Watch him. As soon as he sees the play, he comes back and assists number 46, Zavagnin, with the tackle to stop Herschel Walker on a short gain.
Third down and 9. Ballou on third down to throw. No chance. No chance. Number 23, Jurison, was coming on the play, looped to the outside, and coming right behind Jurison was Hankard, and Hankard got him.
John Hankard is a senior, number 47, just an outstanding football player, a high level of performance as he has started for 3 years, the defensive end for Notre Dame.
Rex Robinson is in the ball game. The story on his season in field goals, you can see. He is a career scoring leader in field goals in the Southeastern Conference. It's a 46-yard attempt. Everything is good. Plenty of legs. It's a tie ball game. So Rex Robinson, 6 out of 9 from that distance this year, pulls Georgia even with Notre Dame. Picture coming from the Goodyear Blimp America with Captain Tim Townley Wren, graduate of Tulane here in New Orleans, at the controls. Up there with him, cameraman Billy Sullivan and Lee Burton, our technician. It took them 14 hours to go 356 miles from Houston to New Orleans to be with us today, and it's a gorgeous day outside. Oh, just clear as it can be. Well, we're in the house.
And in this building, a marvelous engineering feat.
Yes, it is. Here's the kickoff by Robinson. A 50-yard field goal by Oliver and a 46-yard field goal by Robinson. The ball's bouncing around inside the 5-yard line. It was a mistake by Notre Dame. Georgia's after it, and Georgia's got the ball. Georgia's got the ball. Robinson hung the football a mile high, and the Notre Dame backs just ran away from it. They knew they didn't have a chance to return the football, and they thought it would bounce into the end zone, but it did not. Like I said at the very beginning today, you got to have a little luck. Bob Kelly from Savannah came down the field and recovered it.
I cannot believe, I've never seen anything like it. The Notre Dame backs thought the ball was going to cross the goal line. It didn't. And Stone, number 42, recognizing this, came back but couldn't get the ball, and Georgia recovered on the 2-yard line.
And it's first and goal to go for Georgia, and would you believe it? With 1 minute and 45 seconds to play in the first quarter. The ball is just outside the 1. It'll be officially a 2-yard play. The crowd is roaring. Ballou, a quarterback sneak, maybe half of it. That is startling. But obviously, the kick was a mile high in the air. You see Georgia's takeaways were most pronounced, led the nation this year. And Stone and Barber both ran away from the ball thinking it's in the end zone.
In all of my years, I've never seen that. I've seen him catch it on the 1 and fair catch it in all types of plays, but not leave it in there on the 1 yard line.
Second down and goal to go for the Bulldogs at the Irish 1. Got a Walker. Touchdown.
As we see it again, Walker is going right behind all Southeastern Conference margin number 76, all Southeastern Conference Hudson number 66, right behind him for the touchdown.
Extra point try by Robinson. He's made 101 in a row. He missed the first one as a freshman, has not missed since. He's got 102. So with 1 minute and 4 seconds to play in the first quarter, the Georgia Bulldogs take advantage of opportunity and take a 10-3 lead over Notre Dame. The Superdome is mighty happy about the turn of events. As a high kickoff, and I can't stress that enough. That ball was a mile in the air. And it's either Alphonse Gaston, been suggested they might have lost it in the lights. One, maybe, I can't believe two would lose it in the lights. They thought it was in the end zone and didn't go in. Here's Robinson. He puts another one up in the rafters, but this one carries to the end zone, and they're going to come out with it. Jim Stone, and he's got some room. He comes all the way to the 29, close to the 30, before Bob Kelly, who recovered the kickoff a moment ago, makes the tackle. Well, the Hula Bowl's coming up on January 10 from Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Oh, the trade winds will be blowing, and we've got all kinds of folks. Several people from these two teams are going to be there. I know Scott Zedek is going. Mark Herman's going to lead at quarterback for the East. We'll have Samoa at quarterback for the West. He's from Washington State. He's going home to play football. Two outstanding collections of All-Americans and stars. And here goes Keel a mile downfield. Threw it for Tony Hunter. And Hunter was way behind this play. If that ball had been thrown on their first bomb attempt that far, they'd have had a touchdown.
Very good point, Keith, because on this particular play, Fisher was ready for the bomb and had backed up very deep and had good position on Hunter.
So we've got 51 seconds to play in the first quarter. Keel is now 4 out of 7 for 52 yards in passing. It is second down and 10 for Notre Dame. The ball is just short of the 30. Georgia leading 10-3. Keel rolls. Getting some heat. Gets away and gets outside to about the 36. Pat McShay, a senior out of Anderson, South Carolina, almost got him. McShay had his hands on him a while ago, and he still got a pass off and completed it.
The mobility of a quarterback is so important. McShay is a very fine football player, one of Georgia's best. They'd like to have him rushing the pass twice so far. Keel has escaped and made a gain, one completed pass, and a nice gain on the run.
Well, you got a guy named Dooley coaching the opposition and a fellow named McShay trying to tear your quarterback's head off here. The Irish are after the Irish. It is third down at about 3.5 as Keel goes back. Blair's in a little trouble this time, and McShay finally got it. Pat finally got it on his third try.
Oh, they're excited. Pat McShay, coaches tell me, an ideal type football player. You'll find a place for him on your football team. He does the right thing at the right time, which was evidence on that last play of the sack of Keel.
And it's fourth down, a little more than 10, and Keel will punt for the Irish. First punt of the ball game by Keel. Averages a little better than 40. Has no pressure. It's a high-hanging knuckle ball. Scott Werner. Werner, who can break that big play on you, brings it back and gives Georgia pretty good field position. He's out around the 38-yard line. It was a 41-yard punt, and Keel hung it up there. 3.6 seconds.
And the University of Georgia, as we said earlier, leads the nation in punt returns. Scott Werner, just outstanding courage. He wants to catch the ball, and they have a new wrinkle that they're using on their punt return. This helped them all year long.
From the 38, the Bulldogs, with 5 seconds to go in the first quarter, leading 10-3. Ballou pitches it to Walker. Herschel runs right over the top of a penalty flag that was thrown. And let's see what that's about as the quarter has come to a close. So while they talk about the penalty, we will take this timeout. After quarter number 1, Georgia 10 and Notre Dame 3. Had the 5-yard offside penalty against Notre Dame, the defensive team, will extend the first quarter. So it's an untimed play, which will close out the first quarter. So this one goes into the book in number 1. It is first down and 5, Georgia. From the 43, Ballou wants to go deep with it. He does. He's got a man, and it goes right through his hands. Norris Brown, the end was open, and the ball went right through his hand.
Was a sensational throw from Ballou. It's a fake to the right, which holds the defensive right halfback trim just momentarily. Brown is a tight end, and I'm sure that Krim didn't think that he could run as fast. He has a 10-flat hunt speed. Watch the ball go right through his hands. Would have been a sure touchdown.
Oh, Norris, are you going to remember that one? Now the quarter is officially over, and there are the numbers.
First down, Notre Dame 3, Georgia 2. Both teams have moved the ball. Georgia is the surprise in the passing with 0. Notre Dame is the surprise with 52 yards passing.
Walker has picked up 34 yards in the first quarter. Tonight, a special feature here on ABC at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 9:30 Pacific, Invasion. It's an exciting program. We'll tell you more about it as time allows. Meantime, Georgia on second down and 5 from the 43. Gives the ball to Walker, and Walker can't find any room in the middle. Coming back from his defensive end position, John Hankard, the primary tackler.
Walker on the draw play as we watch the Georgia defensive coach flash in the plays from Coach Dooley. But Walker had no chance on that play. Hankard was right there.
It'll be third down and 5 from the 43 of Georgia. Norris Brown had it in his hands and let it go. And he was wide open for a touchdown. Ballou on a roll. Gets pretty good protection, but he's using too much time. He has nobody to throw it to. He's hit on the sideline. Number 98, Pat Kramer, big guy out of Colton, Washington, sort of got there a little late along with Gramke, but they were inbounds when contact was made. And so it brings up a fourth down. And Malkowitz is in the punt for Georgia. Mark Malkowitz. Is a dandy. Oh, that is a howitzer over the head of the Notre Dame people, and this one does go into the end zone. I think that's what they thought earlier, except that one didn't. But that was a honey of a punt, 59 yards. And according to Mike Swanson's stopwatch, was in the air 4.2 seconds. That's a long hang time. Season premiere of the Pro Bowlers Tour comes up live from Anaheim, California, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen in its regular time period of 4 Pacific time. January 10. Pro Bowlers Tour, one of the most successful sports programs in the history of television. First down for Notre Dame from their own 20. Georgia leading 10-3 with 14:11 to go in the first half. Derek Keel turns, gives the ball to his fullback. Ball get loose. Georgia has the ball. Georgia man comes out of the bottom of the stack with the ball. Chris Welton, the rover. He saw it come loose from the fullback, dove in there, and came up with it.
Young Chris Welton is a finance major, had a 4-point average during this past football season when Georgia was gaining the #1 status. Here we see Sweeney, the fullback, who doesn't carry the ball very often. He's hit hard by the linebacker right in the hole, and the ball is on the ground. You can see it, and number 10 comes in and makes the play.
And here goes Herschel Walker to the 15. He's down to the 10 and out of bounds, just short of the 10. Georgia, recovering the kickoff on the Irish 2, scored the touchdown, and now Notre Dame's turned it over out at their 22, and the Bulldogs have it first down just short of the 10. Walker now on 10 carries with 46 yards.
And that could have been one of his best because he was hit at the line of scrimmage by Grudensky, number 51. Durson hit him 5 yards down the field. He broke both tackles and went on to the 10-yard line.
Walker lines up, the eye back. Ronnie Stewart in motion. They've got the 2 blocking fullbacks in there. Buck Ballou on a roll. He's running for the corner. He's down to the 5. He's out of bounds down about the 4, maybe the 3. Johnny Krim saved the touchdown for the Irish.
Just great execution on Ballou's part. The receiver, Brown, was in the end zone but covered. He had only one choice, Ballou did. That was to turn up the field, and he did decisively for a big gain instead of a loss or a possible interception.
The ball is just short of the 3. They could conceivably get a first down without scoring, but it'd have to be very close to the goal line. Walker, sweep to the right, good blocking. He's in there. The fullback, number 25, made the block that opened the door for Walker.
Most often from the high formation, when you see the tailback make a good run, number 25 is the fullback. He has to take pride in his work, and he made an outstanding block that allowed Walker to go in for the touchdown.
Rex Robinson for the extra point try. Jim Broadway will hold it. He's got 102 in the record book. He's got 103 in the record book without a miss. And the Georgia Bulldogs, with 13:49 to play in the first half, have taken a 17-3 lead over Notre Dame. And here's the Walker touchdown run. But look for number 25 and the big block here.
The fullback normally makes a roll block on this. He's going to usually takes his shoulder, and he's going to go down and knock up number 19, Krim, right on the ground as Walker goes in for the touchdown. And we'll be right back after this word.
7th Sugar Bowl game. The Georgia side is roaring. It's quiet on the Notre Dame side of the house. And the reason for it is Georgia has taken a 17-3 lead, as you see the numbers there, on Herschel Walker's second touchdown of the ball game. Jim Stone and Ty Barber, 42 and 12, are deep as Rex Robinson will kick it off for the Bulldogs. Georgia, the only team in Division 1A to make it through the season without a blemish on their record. And Stone's coming out with it. And he was way back there. He was a good 5 yards deep in the end zone. He comes back to about the 27-yard return. Another look at the touchdown.
Well, the pistol area on a play close to the goal line is blocking. Blocking by the line and by the fullback. His number 25 is going to knock Krim, number 19, right back as a knockdown block and allows Walker to just circle the end for the touchdown before Durson, number 23, can come over and make the play.
All right, Mike Curry, senior, Sioux City, Iowa, now at quarterback for Notre Dame. Mike Curry, who started the season against Purdue, had a big day. Showed up for the second time, really, against USC. He's in there now. Give it to Carter. Bill Carter busted over the right side and goes for about 8, maybe 9 yards. Gets it out across the 30.
It's not unusual for a team to add plays and formations in the time they have between the last game of the season and the bowl game. And Notre Dame and Georgia have added some things to this ball game, hoping that they can come up with a surprise and have some big plays.
Ball is at the 30. Second down and about 1.5 yards for a first down. Be a checkoff. Curry took a long time with it, rolls it out. He's a good runner. He's very quick. He's got a first down, turns it upfield, and goes across the 40 to the 42. Well, I think he did check it off.
And that was the play that the coaches of Notre Dame said was the key for Curry in this ball game. It's a run block option, one receiver, as the Georgia man is hurt.
That's Will Forts, linebacker number 42, down on the field for Georgia.
But to continue with the Notre Dame strategy, they had this play set up for the ball game, and it's supposed to be key for them and hope to move the ball, and we'll be right back in just a minute.
Well, there's a look at the great old city of New Orleans from the Goodyear Blimp America. Mississippi flowing. That's why they call it a Crescent City, the way it's shaped around the Big Muddy. And here comes Notre Dame on first down from their own 42. They trail by 14, 17-3 with 12:56 to play in the first half. They send Sweeney, the fullback, in motion, pitch the ball to Jim Stone in at tailback. Stone turns it upfield to the 44. There, Robert Miles, number 83, locks his legs for Georgia. Jim Stone played quite a bit during the middle of the year when Phil Carter was out with a severe thigh bruise and had some big ball games. How about them dogs? Well, they have been a bit of a surprise here in the first half. Of course, Notre Dame has given them opportunity, and they have exercised it.
That's the mark of a good football team.
Second down and 8 from the 44. Corey, quick stand-up pattern. Couldn't find anybody. Turns it upfield. Mike's got some daylight. He's still going. He's down to the Georgia 40. He's all the way down to the 37. Mike Curry. He gained 22 yards on that canter. He looked for Hunter to the right, but then the middle was wide open, and he took it.
That's just experience, because Hunter was covered on the quick pass, and the one thing the quarterback does is try to go right up the middle to avoid any loss, but Curry has good speed. Watch him break through the arms of the would-be tacklers, and finally Williams, number 9, and Hip, number 49, bring him to the ground.
And it's first down, Notre Dame. The ball is at the Georgia 36. Carter is back in there at tailback for the Irish. Hill's got the ball. Big hole over the right side. Big hole up the middle. And Phil Carter goes to the 20. Oh, did Tom Thayer and Phil Derrick open a hole for him?
Let's watch the blocking from the end zone and watch the offensive guard. Notre Dame says that is the key. Huffman, number 78, weighs 290 pounds. The fullback Sweeney makes a block on Taylor. Ross is blocked by Huffman, and Carter goes right up the middle for the big play.
You never saw the defensive left side of the line at all. They were taken out early as well. So picture-perfect execution. First down for Notre Dame. The ball is at the Georgia 20. Corey looking, can't find anybody, and he's going to lose a yard or so. He was looking for Hunter again on that quick send-up pop play, but Georgia, for the second time, covered it well.
Scott Werner, number 19, was a left halfback covering Hunter, and he played it very smartly because Georgia has very little depth to defend against. Notre Dame's close to the goal line, and he played him close. It would have been a risky play for Curry to throw it, and he didn't.
Second down 11, Georgia 21 for the Irish. Georgia man's offside. The encroachment by an interior lineman, Eddie Weaver of Georgia. Made contact that time.
Watch number 61. He's a little bit overhang. It's just a goal line situation while the quarterback is changing the play on a long count. He wanted to penetrate. He wanted to break the seam. That happened as we listen to Clint Fuller.
Illegal procedure. Defense.
A little bit of difference there between offside and encroachment.
And another thing, instead of 2nd and 10, they have 2nd and 5, and they can go back to their regular game of power if they want to.
Or 2nd and 6, actually. You see the difference in the yardage, but that's because Notre Dame gave the ball literally to Georgia down on the 2 and then fumbled it away on the 22, and Georgia scored both their touchdowns.
Georgia has been an opportunist team all year long, having taken away 44 balls from the opponents on pass, interception, and fumble. 44 times for this game.
Second down and 6 from the 16. Corey gives it to Stone. Stone's hit behind the line of scrimmage and decked all the way back on the 20. Whoa, Georgia's that time read it just right, and they were sending folks.
We talked about earlier that Georgia will try to penetrate. What we mean by that is break the seam, going between the Notre Dame blockers, not taking them on head up. That's what happened, and that was the reason the play had a lost yardage.
There's the man right there without the hair who has put the Georgia defensive scheme together, Irk Russell. Ball is back. They've actually got it on about the 19 of Georgia. And Corey on a roll. Mike getting blocking. Going to run it. He's quick. He gets it back down to about the 12. He is short of the first down on third down. And probably we'll see the Irish field goal unit.
The key play for Georgia was the loss on 2nd and 5 when Carter took a 4-yard loss on a straight base play by excellent play by the Georgia Bulldogs.
Time is called, charged against Notre Dame with 9:01 to play in the first half. They want to think about their situation, trailing in the game 17-3. The last 3-4 days down here in New Orleans have just been spectacular. Blue sky, warm, and it's like that today. But we've got 77,895 folks inside the Superdome, which is a new Sugar Bowl record here. And the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are going to go for the touchdown. The ball has been marked short of the Georgia 13, and they've got to go very close to the Georgia 10. They need about 3 yards on 4th down. Corey wants to throw, puts it in the air. It is intercepted by Scott Werner, and he's coming out with it. And he comes out to the 18. The ball was intended for Pete Holohan, and Werner at 6 feet out-jumped Holohan, who is 6'5", and made the interception. This is one of these ball games, Frank, where you're having a lot of big plays that is inflaming this Georgia football team.
This is just a sensational play by Warner, number 19. If he goes high, remember that Holohan, number 31, stands 6'5". Warner, this is his 6th interception of the year, his 14th of his career, and he is excellent runner, as you can see with the football.
And it's first down, Georgia, at their own 18 as they turn the Irish away, and Herschel Walker has the ball, breaks it up the middle, gets it out to the 23, maybe the 24. And Dodd Crable and Joe Rudzinski make the tackle. Now, that's the first time today I have called Crable's name.
That is a surprise. Georgia must be doing a great job blocking on Crable with their center, Ratloff.
Radloff and Joe Happy are alternating in there at center. And that really is the first clear tackle that Crable has made today. Harper's out at tackle, and Jimmy Harper is in to replace him. Jimmy replacing Jeff. Jimmy weighs 280. Buck Ballou hands the ball to Herschel Walker. Walker gets away from Stacy Torren, a freshman cornerback, and runs it from the 24 up to about the 26, maybe the 27.
That's a wonderful graphic of a fine football player. Scott Warner, as you can see these numbers, had 2 knee operations in the last 11 months. He rehabilitated the leg. He wanted to be a part of this football team, and he's been a vital cog in its success.
Scott is from Jonesboro. There's a little note that's of interest. This is being closed captioned for the hearing impaired members of our audience today, and we hope you're enjoying it. One of our engineering guys has worked on it a long time as Herschel Walker breaks it over the left side, gets good blocking, and goes for a first down. Herschel Walker now beginning to make his presence really known. He's run for 63 yards on 14 carries and scored 2 touchdowns.
And the most that any back has made against the Notre Dame defense in the 11 games of the season totals 87 yards. There's Herschel Walker's numbers.
First down, Georgia. Ball is on their own 33. They lead in the ball game 17-3. The play's up the middle. Big daylight. And Herschel Walker takes it to the Notre Dame 44. He picked up 23 yards on that blast up the middle. He's now got 86 yards.
Watch what happens on the blocking up the middle. Walker explodes, and when I tell you he explodes, as you can watch Kremke get pushed inside, Zavotny cannot come back. Watch him go with that football, 220 pounds, 9.2 speed, and poor little Gibbons, the safety man, has got to try to get him down. He did get some help.
44-yard line. They go inside to Carney Norris in a tailback as Herschel comes out. Take a little breath after that explosion up the middle, and Carney is hit pretty much along. As a matter of fact, he lost a little bit. Back close to the 45. 7:05 to play in the first half.
In visiting with the Georgia coaches, they commented on how the team really worships Herschel Walker. They believe in him and they want him to break every record. He's just been a sensation.
On second down, back to throw Ballou. Gonna run it. And his scramble is good for about a yard before Rick Naylor, a freshman out of Cincinnati, brings him down. Walker is out of there right now. Norris is in at tailback. Ballou on the deep drop. Wasn't a single red shirt available to him, so he pulled it down.
That's the great thing about a quarterback who can scramble once his receivers are covered and avoid the loss. Gives Georgia a chance still to make a first down.
Walker is back in at tailback. Not sure Ballou knows it. Now he turns around and sees him. Fakes it to Herschel. On the deep drop. Wasn't a single red shirt available to him, so he pulled it down.
That's the great thing about a quarterback who can scramble once his receivers are covered and avoid the loss. Gives Georgia a chance still to make a first down.
Walker is back in at tailback. Not sure Ballou knows it. Now he turns around and sees him. Fakes it to Herschel. Tries to put it up. Gets it off over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Incomplete. Pass intended for Walker. Crable hit him just as the ball got there, and it bounced out.
Well, play-action passes really take a risk for the Georgia Bulldog team because of the power and the muscle. Let's watch Crable as he drops back and defends against, I believe Walker is the one that's the pass receiver, number 24. Crable closes right in, puts his head right on the back of Walker, and knocks the ball loose.
Malkowitz with a punt, wants to hang it high, and he does. He really spun it up in the air, and Georgia trying to put it down, and it takes a big high bounce and bounces over there, out reaching hands, and it'll come out to the 20. First down for Notre Dame. Now you have 5:58 to play in the first half. Georgia taking advantage of two Irish mistakes, lead 17-3. ABC News close-up tonight, 9:30 Eastern Time, a dramatization with actual film of the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1968. It's a very interesting program, especially in light of what's been happening in that part of the world recently. So see it tonight, an ABC News special, 9:30 Eastern Time, Invasion. From the 21st down for the Irish. Last time after a good drive by an interception. Give it to Phil Carter, and Carter is caught at the 22. The Georgia defense is swarming number 96 Dale Carver and Frank Ross number 48.
The Georgia defense uses a 8-man front that plays up and down the line of scrimmage. Their term is we got to live with the yardage inside to stop the big gains outside and to cover the passes.
Second down and 8 with Holohan and Hunter coming wide for the open side of the field. Corey gives it to the tailback. And Phil Carter is out to the 27. It'll be third down and about 3 as Eddie Weaver made the stop for Georgia.
Eddie Weaver and Jimmy Payne, the other fine defensive football player, they're trying to line up and guess with Notre Dame and line up on the side that Notre Dame is likely to run. They guessed correct on the last play.
Jimmy Payne's a 240-odd-pound sophomore, 6'4", still growing. They think he's going to be a great one.
They definitely do. He's got the speed to really close and rush the passes.
Third down, 3 for the Irish. It's Carter. And Carter can't get there. He gets it up to about the 28, and that's it. It was Tim Crow who looped and cut his legs from under him. So the big defensive lineman from Stone Mountain, Georgia, makes his second big play of the ball game, and the Irish will have to punt.
It's a very critical play. It forces the punt rather than let Notre Dame keep the football. They still had a chance to score. Now Georgia will come out with pretty good field position.
Blair Keel to do the punting. Scott Werner is deep. Good punt. Knuckleball.
Not much hang time.
Werner turned it left. No place to go. Had he come back to the right side, he might have had a little daylight. Good coverage by the Irish. 44-yard punt. The Harlem Globetrotters featured on ABC's Wide World of Sports. January 17, World Cup skiing from Kitzbühel. Then the 24th, World Cup gymnastics and World Cup ski jumping. As ABC's Wide World of Sports starts rolling in the month of January.
The Globetrotters continue to gain fans every year.
First down for Georgia from their own 29. Gain is out to about the 31. Herschel listed at 218. There have been times when he's weighed more than that, but he looked pretty lean yesterday when I was visiting with him. Tim Marshall, who is a freshman defensive tackle for Notre Dame out of Chicago, made the stop. There's another youngster who's going to be a great football player, number 77 in white.
He has a tremendous explosive charge. Marshall does. He has 12 sacks this year.
Herschel Walker has now run for 88 yards. That's more yards than any other back against Notre Dame, but then Herschel Walker is not hardly any other back, is he? There's a penalty flag thrown as Georgia runs it off the left side. Walker carrying. Mike Corey has got some ice on his right hand, his passing hand. Here's the penalty now.
It's motion. Offense.
Quite sure Notre Dame will take this call because Walker had picked up about 7.
Jim Blakely, number 77, the left offensive guard, trying to pull out and get in front of Walker on the sweep. Jumped the gun just a moment.
It's a motion. Offense. Second down.
Ball is sitting back at the 26. And it's second down and 13. Lindsey Scott and Chuck Jones wide to the open side of the field. Both are flyers. Ballou rolls that way. Buck looks, loops it. It's intercepted. Was he inbound? No. It was caught out of bounds by John Krim. Notre Dame defensive secondary did not give Ballou much of a target.
The rush, Ballou's throwing on the run, and you're just not quite as accurately as a rule. You're going to see Ballou just throw the ball. Krim, number 19, is going to come right in front, but keep in mind that in college you have to have one foot come inbounds after he gets possession of the ball. Very clearly his left foot is out of bounds, and officials called it correctly.
And it's third down and 13 now. Let's see if he decides to go deep here. Charles Jr., another speedster, is out there. Nope. Give the ball inside. And Walker thunders up across the 30 to the 32, close to the 33. They look like they'll mark him short of the 33. That'll bring up fourth down for Georgia. And Mark Malkowitz in the punt. Walker now with 95 yards on 17 carries.
Third down and long. That ends under circumstances. Short time to go before the clock. Precautionary tactics. Don't throw it. Give it to Walker. Hope he can make some yardage.
Malkowitz been pretty good on his hang time. Big rush for the Irish. Gets it away. Not much hang on this one. There's a little bit of room for it, but Johnny Krim taking no chances. Fair catches it at the 38. And we've got a penalty flag back upfield. It looks like we may have a roughing the kicker call against Notre Dame as Crable made contact.
Keith, it really was a late block by Crable. He lost his poise a little bit.
Unsportsmanlike. White.
Well, it's an unsportsmanlike call, not roughing the kicker. So Crable just got there too late.
And on this, Notre Dame will get to keep the football. But it will be first down and 25 because it was a deadfall penalty. That's what it appeared to be.
That's exactly what it is. So the Georgia defense, which has been a big surprise in its ability to control the Irish, though the Irish made 2 mistakes that resulted in the 2 Georgia touchdowns. The thing that has been surprising to me, Frank.
Foul. Unsportsmanlike. White.
Right. The thing that I have been most surprised about so far in the ball game is the ability of the Georgia offensive front to keep the Notre Dame defense backed up.
That's an interesting point because we all thought, including Georgia, that they might not be able to stop the Notre Dame power. But Notre Dame has run wide against the wide tackle 6, which has the weakness up the middle too often.
Dead ball foul. Unsportsmanlike. White.
Okay, Clint. Ball is at the 23. Blair Keel is back at quarterback now for the Irish. So far, they haven't found a quarterback that could stick it in the end zone. We saw Corey with ice on his hand a moment ago, his right hand. Keel is 4 out of 7 for 52 yards. He started. 2:40 to go in the first half. Out of the shotgun, Blair Keel. He hums one down the sidelines and throws it into the bench. Mastak was over there. Was it Hunter?
Unfortunately for Notre Dame, Hunter was wide open. Keel just had too much on the ball. Hunter, the defensive back, Warner, was playing him very loose right before the half, very wisely to play him loose, and Hunter had a chance to make a big play, but Keel overthrew it.
Eddie Weaver, 61, has come out of the ball game at middle guard now for Georgia. And that'll put Kevin Jackson, a 255-pound sophomore from Cartersville, in the ball game. 2nd down and 10 for the Irish. Jimmy Stone, tailback, caught behind the line of scrimmage. Number 91, Tim Crow, with his 3rd big play of the ball game. Let me go back to that penalty, Frank. It was a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. It was a late hit after the whistle had blown the ball dead. Notre Dame had already accepted the football on the fair catch. Thus, the penalty was imposed with Notre Dame keeping possession of the ball and losing 15 yards. Is that right?
That's what I said, I thought earlier, but yes, that's exactly right. Dead ball foul, 1st and 25 for Notre Dame.
Now it is 3rd, and quick kick. Nope, give it a reverse to Phil Carter. Carter with a lot of room, and penalty flags it down. I think Phil left a little too soon. We'll see. I don't know if it was Phil or not. He might have taken a step forward and then come back, or it might have been inside, but we'll see. Linesman threw the flag.
Russian offense.
That's another penalty that's been hurting Notre Dame all through the football game.
Yeah, just wiped out a 21-yard run right there by Phil Carter. You've got 1:52 to play in the first half, and Georgia leading 17-3.
The situation would be 4th down and maybe 4 or 5 yards, and I don't believe Notre Dame could take, Georgia could take the chance, and that they might kick the ball. They should go ahead and take the penalty.
Notre Dame has been flagged 5 times for 35 yards. Georgia 3 times for 21. Well, you've got 1:52 to play. You're looking at 3rd down and a half mile. So unless they come up with a real big play here, Georgia should be able to get the football back in rather decent field position.
And we go back again to the penalties against Notre Dame and the mistakes that they've made. Without the penalty, the dead ball penalty, Notre Dame would have had 1st down at the 40-yard line.
That's right. All right, Ross comes in at linebacker, replacing Forts. Forts was hurt earlier. He's been back in play. It is 3rd down. They've got to go to the 48 to get the 1st down. The ball is sitting just inside the 20. And Corey is back at quarterback. Mike comes outside, and he is caught from behind and brought down at the 20-yard line. Making the tackle for Georgia, Jimmy Payne, following the play. And now Notre Dame will have to punt on 4th down. And the punt's going to be hit somewhere around the 10 or 12, so Georgia should have pretty good field position.
And Georgia calls timeout very wisely so that they can stop the clock and have a chance to maybe score.
And as you saw, 1 minute and 19 seconds left to play in the first half. The Bulldogs and Notre Dame both have 2 timeouts remaining. On 4th down for Notre Dame, standing back, it is 6. 1:19 to play. Scott Werner is deep for Georgia. Bulldogs leading 17-3. No pressure on Keel. His kick is away. It's a good one for Werner. He's going to take it at the 40. Looks for a little hole. Finds a little bit. Makes some more and runs it back to the Notre Dame 47. Mike Bushka brought him down. But that was a heck of a piece of work by big Scott Werner. Halftime, we'll talk to both coaches, have both bands for you, and highlights of the first half.
Werner loves to handle that ball on punts. He's good at it. He knows he's good at it, and he wants that football.
From the Irish 47, 1st down Georgia, 1:06 to play, and Walker goes in motion. And Ballou running out of time, trying to get away. He is caught and brought down by Gramke. And Buck was within a half a step of picking up about 20 yards that time. But I'll tell you, play-action passes just do not work against a football team as big, as strong, and talented as the Irish defense.
That is a good point, because on play-action pass, the quarterback has his back to the line of scrimmage, He's not looking for the blitz. And should it happen, he cannot get away from it. He doesn't know what to do. And Ballou has not completed a pass so far in this half.
He is 0 for 4, and that time was chased out. So in several instances, he's been trying to pass and just simply hasn't been able to.
Notre Dame's front four are so big and powerful that they can put a rush on the average football team, particularly on a play-action pass where the linemen fire out and try to make their pass protection block look like they run. Notre Dame doesn't buy that. They just keep coming.
55 seconds to play in the first half. Georgia has 1 timeout remaining. But the Bulldogs are sitting on a 14-point lead. How do you do? Wallace Wade. Nobody ever wins a football game. Somebody loses it.
We're seeing that today.
Ballou, deep drop this time. Goes short. Throws it in front of Herschel Walker. Never had a chance. Stuck it in the ground right in front of him. Again, the Notre Dame linebackers were looking Buck right in the eyes of Vagnon. Mark was there, and so was Bobby Crable.
Notre Dame coaches confided in me yesterday by saying that they were going to try to intimidate Ballou with a big rush early in the ball game, and they've been successful with the rush. But Notre Dame's mistakes have cost them dearly.
The ball is at the Georgia 49. It's third down and about 15 with 50 seconds to go in the first half. Ballou has time, goes on a sideline pattern intended for Norris Brown, and it's knocked away by Tom Gibbons, a senior out of Alexandria, Virginia. Fine play by Tommy. And it brings up 4th down and kicking time for the Bulldogs. So Georgia is not able to do anything with the opportunity they have. See Brown coming across. He was open. If Ballou probably had thrown the ball a little sooner, might have been able to come down with it.
Very good point. The ball was just late. He was open momentarily, Brown.
Malkowitz in to punt. Gets it off, spins it up there. Again, good hang time, forcing John Krim into a fair catch call back at the Notre Dame 17. So with 38 seconds to play in the first half, go back to the point we made earlier. The big play man for Notre Dame is Hunter. Tony Hunter, 6'5" wide receiver who can fly. And Blair Keel, the youngster with the strong right arm, is in at quarterback.
Tony Hunter missed part of the season with an ankle sprain, but he's well now. Notre Dame very desperately needs to find a way to get the ball to him.
He never saw the ball in the Southern California game. Didn't make a catch.
Didn't catch one pass the entire game.
Shotgun. Keel gets it off. Pass is complete to the tailback. But there isn't a whole lot there as Carter is brought down up at the 18. And the clock running at 25 seconds. Looks like Notre Dame's going to let him run out. Now they call time. Keel has called time. He looked to the sidelines for the play, didn't have it, and called time. Irish now have 1 timeout remaining with 14 seconds to play. As I told you, a new Sugar Bowl record here in the Superdome of 77,895. The old mark was 484 after the 77,000. And if you're wondering about the rushing record, let me tell you that the Sugar Bowl record is 202 yards by Tony Dorsett, and he set that against Georgia. And Pittsburgh was the national champion. Herschel Walker now, on 17 carries, has 95 yards.
He has a chance because of his tremendous speed.
And he's like a lot of the great running backs, Frank. He just gets stronger as the game goes on.
And looking at his long runs for the season, he had 2 in the 4th quarter, 2 in the 3rd quarter, which is a true indication of what you said. He gets stronger as the game goes along.
Mo J. Simpson was that way. Jimmy Brown was that way. Big guy from Texas was that way. Earl Campbell. 2nd down and 8 from the 18. Blair Keel out of the shotgun up the sideline. Oh, what a hit Hunter took. Whoa. Tony's all right. I don't know about the Georgia man, though. Looks like the Georgia man is down. Now watch the play from ground level and watch this lick.
You're going to see how receivers get into an exposed position. They're vulnerable to the pass as Dale Williams, number 9, just cuts his feet out from under him. You wonder why he's not hurt, injured. Hunter, that is, but he was loose and up in the air, and he just took the blow. And Williams is the one that was knocked out. But he's all right now.
Hunter is 6'5", 211, and a sophomore. There's Herschel. Incredible amount of pressure has been imposed on this young man in his freshman year, but he's handled it pretty well. He stayed within the ranks of his teammates.
That's a very great point, because all the publicity could just ruin a youngster, but Herschel, very unusual.
I thought one of the smartest things he did, too, was stay at home to go to school.
Around friends and family.
Keith, very important. Ball is just sneaked out to the 20 now, and that should do it for the first half of play as the clock ticks off. And Clint Fuller has waved it stop with 2 seconds. So Notre Dame apparently spent its last time out there, or did they? Yes, they did. Trainers and the water bucket has come onto the field. And so inside that big structure, the Superdome, no, it's Georgia. Georgia called the timeout. Well, they want see, Notre Dame, they know full well is going to either put it up or punt it, and they want Scott Werner to get a hold of it. So on 4th down and long, Werner should be able to get the football up around the middle of the field. Sundays on ABC Sports, we'll have the Superstars and International Boxing starting January 25. And ABC's Wide World of Sport